Tim Reich, Timreisch, the Adjutant General of the South Dakota National Guard. Well, today is the 1-year anniversary of the crash of the North Carolina Air National Guard aircraft that was fighting a fire out here a year ago today, and 6 members on board. 4 of the 6 were killed. And so today we're on the 1-year anniversary. We're bestowing some honor and memory to that tragic event.
Well, thank you, sir. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just like to express our appreciation to the many members of the North Carolina National Guard and family members of the surviving and of the perished airmen. And we appreciate them coming here. Over 150 North Carolina Guardsmen here and many family members came to South Dakota to be a part of this ceremony. And we also appreciate the Forest Service for the role that they played and the cooperation that they had to do with putting this interpretive site together.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And if you could please spell and say your first and last name, please.
Okay, sure, yeah. Major General Greg Lusk, L-U-S-K, Adjutant General, North Carolina National Guard.
Right, sir. And can you please tell me why we are here today?
Today is the unveiling of a, what's the terminology they're using for this site? Interpretive site. Okay. Today was the unveiling of an interpretive site that, in my mind, I actually would describe it as a memorial and a tribute to the members of the MAF 7 crew that flew out of the North Carolina Air National Guard here 1 year ago today and lost their lives, basically on the ridgeline, just a couple miles behind us. So today was indeed that day of tribute.
And is there anything else you'd like to add about that, sir?
Yeah, they were tremendous people, and had the opportunity to meet with their families, of course, immediately in the aftermath of their passing, and got to know a little bit about them. A couple of them I actually flew on training missions just a couple months prior to the accidents, and so I got a chance to see them in action. And I can tell you, as much as sad as we are that they're no longer with us, I can tell you that every single one of them left here doing exactly what they wanted to do. And they were also very excited and very eager to be part of this MAF's mission, because once again, they know how important it is. And it's exciting and it's exhilarating to them as a professional, as an airman. And so, again, we honor the fact that they're no longer here with us. We have remorse for that, but at the same time, we celebrate the fact that they died doing what they loved and cherished doing on behalf of all of us. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. All right, if you could please give me your name, first and last, and spell it for me, please.
You bet. Craig Bob Zien, C-R-A-I-G-B-O-B-Z-I-E-N.
All right, and if you could please tell me what we're doing here today.
Today's a special day to commemorate the 4 North Carolina National Guard airmen that lost their lives, and the 2 survivors that had received extensive injuries while they were flying a mission on the White Draw Fire.
Right, and can you tell us a little bit about the feelings that you have towards this service?
I think it's a very noble cause. Came forward an idea as a way to honor not only the people that were there on the fire, but so many that supported in the mission they had. And establishing this interpretive site allows the public to know and understand and respect the service that these airmen and women give to the United States.
And is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'm always an opportunity to thank the men and women that serve our nation's military, protecting our country's freedom, but also the call out for domestic issues like wildfires, and the fact that so many came out today and came from North Carolina in honor of these men and their families.
Thank you, sir. And your title, sir?
I'm the Forest Supervisor, Black Hills National Forest.
Sir, can you tell me how important is it to have folks like this in the Air Force in doing this?
Air remain the largest air asset, powerful mechanical force that we have on wildfires. It takes skilled pilots and crewmen to be able to operate those, but it takes them in working with all the ground forces to really be effective in that. It's an incredibly important strategic and tactical asset, and how those are deployed, again, from the air with ground forces can make a remarkable difference on flanking and suppressing wildfires.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Does that work for you guys?
Yes.
Good morning, and thank you for attending today's event. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dale Gadd for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of the national anthem, standing for the invocation by Chaplain Joel Sandiao of the North Carolina Air National Guard.
Light's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the path we watched were so gallantly streaming. The bombs bursting in air, night that our flag was still there, and I yet wave o'er the brave.
A few days earlier, these men, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Michael, Chief Master Sergeant Andy Honeycutt of Lancaster, South Carolina, and Master said goodbye to their loved ones and headed to Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado, at approximately 6:30 p.m. on July 1st, respect for their duty, service, and sacrifice to this great nation. I would like to call to your attention a pilot and had more than 20 years of service. He leaves behind his wife Marlo and 2 children, Amanda and Liam, instructor pilot, and chief of training for the 156th Airlift Squadron. Joined the North Carolina Air National Guard in 2011 after over 10 years of service in the active duty U.S. Air Force, years with the Charlotte unit, and was a flight engineer with the 145th Operation Support Flight. He leaves behind his wife Melanie and 2 children in serious injuries. Chief Master Sergeant and brother Colonel Newt Honeycutt. Master Sergeant Joshua Armand, representing the California National Guard, Brigadier General Randall Ball. Mr. Arthur Hinneman, United States Forest Service. Mr. and Mrs. Joyce Whiting, major contributors.
I feel I have North Carolina in that through the National Association of Counties of that task force has been a longtime guardsman from Gastonia, North Carolina. It's proclamation of Fall River County. Whereas a citizen flag on all county buildings is lowered to half staff, and whereas Lieutenant Colonel Paul McCormick, 36, of Belmont, North Carolina, Major Ryan S., North Carolina, courageously made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty, fighting nation to the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices faced by such crew. Sergeant Josh Marlowe and Chief Master Sergeant Andy Honeycutt played an essential County. Now, therefore, the Fall River Board of County Commissioners calls upon all citizens of Fall River County, of C-130 crew members, Lieutenant Colonel Paul K. Michael, Major Joseph M. McCormick, Major Ryan S. David, gratitude to the family and friends of our fallen heroes, dated this 20th day of June 2000.
Not present. Next, please welcome Major General Greg Lusk.
They volunteer to serve their fellow Americans, to defend our republic, and to preserve. In fact, they would all assuredly tell us if they were here that they were simply answering a call that each possessed and exhibited on every single day of their lives. You see, they were simply, nobly doing the job that they all loved to do. He was athletic. He was an avid swimmer, 3-year letterman in his alma mater of UNC Charlotte. Robbie Cannon, a native to Charlotte, North Carolina. He was an avid outdoorsman, a mountain biker in 1990. He also served on multiple deployments to Afghanistan. We're so honored that his family would be here today. And Major Ryan David, as well as in Administration and Human Resource Management. He had served on 7 different deployments too. So as we pay tribute to the crew, to include Andy Honeycutt and Josh Marlowe, this site, this monument that will serve for many they did, simply answering a call of a neighbor in need, service to a community, and in defense of our nation. The unveiling of these markers here today will ensure at this very momentous occasion. I'd like to thank the state of South Dakota for recognizing and appreciating the rise of fighting forest fires by the loss of the 19 firefighters and it is all of them that we recognize and pay tribute today to do as we undo every single day because of what the crew of MAF 7 did 1 year ago and because of what we are doing at this very moment. I think it's fair to say that the citizens of North Carolina and the citizens of South Dakota will forever share a very sacred impulse. The Falls River County Commission, Major General Tim Reich, and the Black Hills National Forest Service for hosting this and allowing this date to come to fruition, for making this possible, and allowing us the absolute honor and the privilege of honoring great Americans that preceded us. Thank you.
General Tim Reich, the Adjutant General of the South Dakota National Guard.
Surviving General Lusk, General Reiner, Mr. Bob Zine, fellow Americans, thank you so much for taking the time to. People decide to join the National Guard for many reasons. Because a friend or relative is serving or has previously served. But in my opinion, most folks join the National Guard because they want. As we've concluded operations in Iraq and wind down in Afghanistan, the Airmen of MAF 7 fit this mode exactly. When the call left their families, left North Carolina to come here and help. And as we know, South Dakota National Guard were honored to support family members of surviving crew members during the aftermath of the crash, and to work with General Lusk and other North Carolina Guard officials. May this site serve as a perpetual reminder of our aid when we needed them. Thank you.
General Reich, Mr. Craig Bob Zine, Black Hills Forest Service Supervisor, would like to make a few remarks. Mr. Bob Zine.
A presence so large. I imagine many of you here today have flown or other large air tankers perform on wildfire missions. I recall that first approach by a large air tanker when they accurately placed loads of retardant. Firefighters flank and hold running wildfires. Even today, the C-130 and other large air tankers protecting our freedom and protecting us from peril. The ground soldiers that double as firefighters, for us. The dedication of each is to the families. These are your sons, your fathers, your brothers, your husbands, your family members, and yours and our friends. To the families, your extended families, our brothers and sisters in arms, the Forest Service remains ever grateful. So that the presence, mission, and spirit of MAF 7 that
is Lieutenant Governor of South Dakota. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Governor Matt Michaels.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this humbling honor to be here with you today on behalf of the governor and the people of South Dakota. I know he, along with everyone, sends their love. It's an incredible honor to be invited here today. These 6 North Carolina Guardsmen, for their heroism, and we're dedicating this site so that people will remember them forever. The volunteers who donated their time and effort and money to create this incredible site. Outside of my window in my office, I'm able to see these memorials. Last fall, the South Dakota Firefighters Association included these 4 airmen in a special memorial that will live forever there in the shadow of our state capitol building. Their names are enshrined in granite for eternity. Thank you to everyone who joined me in thanking them. But it is impossible for any words to pass my lips that can express our incredible gratitude for the sacrifices that not only these men have made, but that you have made. Now, a couple of kids with dreams that had no money, no background, no experience, but could be elected to be officials in our great state. The same is true where you come from. On this, the 150th anniversary of the Civil War, the North does meet the South in one big family to say that we are a nation truly of the people and your family. Words cannot express the compassion that we wish to give you, and the sympathy and hopefully some empathy for your losses. But my honor is to tell you on behalf of the people of this great state of South Dakota, and especially who visit here, that your family members will always be remembered by this incredible memorial for us. I ask a favor, and that favor is when the pain revisits you, as it does now, to remember this time and place, and remember that something is in our hearts as South Dakotans. I would like for you to remember that we, the people of South Dakota, love you. We love you, and we love the person that is lost in the service to our country and our state. Ladies and gentlemen, the site was built to honor these men, but it's also built to comfort you, and that is one of our dreams. Over the year, and that you'll see shortly, that your families and you will be remembered, and people will pause here, just like we will today, to praise their service. Pray for them and for you. As you leave today and go back home, please remember that our prayers will never end. Our gratitude for what these men did and what you have done, and may God bless the greatest nation on the face of this earth. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. From the South Dakota Legislature, I will now read Senate Commemoration number 13. A legislative commemoration honoring the North Carolina Air National Guard, MAV 7, 145th Airlift Wing, Charlotte, North Carolina. Black Hills near Edgemont, South Dakota. The wildland fire was later designated as the White Draw Fire. In the fire. And whereas the North Carolina Air National Guard C-130, known as MAF 7, crashed in the Black Hills of South Dakota, whereas Lieutenant Colonel Paul K. Michael, Major Joseph Joe, the White Draw Fire ultimately consumed approximately 9,000 acres of the Black Hills by the time it was contained on or about July 13th of 2012 of the state of South Dakota, that the MAF 7 crew be honored for their service to the citizens. Lieutenant Governor Michaels will now read a proclamation from the Governor of South Dakota.
Thank you. Of the Governor Dennis Dugard. Whereas Lieutenant Colonel Paul, Major Ryan S. David, Chief Master Sergeant Andrew M. Huddy-Kurgan, Robert Robbie S. Cannon, and Master Sergeant Joshua R. Air National Guard's 145th Air Wing devoted their lives to protect the citizens of this great country. On July 1st, 2012, while fighting the White Draw Fire in the southern Black Hills of South Dakota. Whereas colleagues, friends, family will gather in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and I join their families and friends and colleagues in this special day of remembrance and dedication to these heroes.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
Before we serve ourselves, for it's in our God's blessed work.
Formal dedication ceremony honoring the service of the MAF 7 crew, 145th Airlift Wing, North Carolina Air National Guard. We thank you for joining today's ceremony.
Some Matthews do not pop up. You pop up. You pop up.
North. You like these two? Yeah, I thought there was 3 different kinds.
They're new.
America.
Yeah, in that bag. Let me get it. Yeah. We'll get a different mic stand so we can put it up here.
Excuse me, 6 airmen that were in that C-130 crash last summer out here in the hills. So. But as soon as we get done here with this morning, I'll get back there and get in touch with the 114th and see what we can get set up for the 3rd. Get plenty of cars.
Here.